Okay, we are on page 123. This is the bottom of the page. We've done all the rest of it, so we're doing numbers 20, 21, and 22 on page 123. Number 20 reads, Victoria's printer can print 8 and 804 thousandths pages in 1 minute. If Victoria prints pages for 0 and 903 thousandths minutes, how many pages will she have? And I misread that. And it's really important that I read it correctly. It says about how many pages will she have. What does that word about mean? It means you get to round and estimate. That's exactly what that means. So what we're going to do on this one is 8.8 would round up to 9, and 0.9 would round up to 1 whole. And so she's printing pages for about 1 minute, and she can print about 9 pages in 1 minute. That means she can print about 9 pages. It's important to put the word about in your answer. About 9 pages. Cool. Let's move on. Number 21, there's some directions here we got to read. It says a taxi charges a flat fee of $4 plus $2.25 per mile. So you got to understand what this means. It means that right when you step in the taxi, they're going to charge you $4, and then they're going to add on to that $2.25 per mile. So if you go down to number 21 here, it says how much will it cost to travel 8.7 miles. What that means is you need to multiply 8.7 miles times $2.25 per mile, and then the end you've got to add your $4. The $4 is a flat fee. So this is a multiplication problem and add, and we add at the end. So what I'm going to do off to the side here is I'm going to do 225, and I'm going to ignore my decimals. I'll worry about those later. Times 8.7. I'll worry about my decimals later. I'm going to multiply, change it to money, add the $4. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 is 17. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 is 15. And I say 0 because I'm in the tens place. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 is 20. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 2 is 18. Get 5, 7, 5, 9, 1. And I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3 spaces. And that looks like $19 and 575 cents, but that doesn't make sense because in money we don't go that far, so we've got to erase this. But as we erase it, we need to recognize that a 5 would round up, so it's not going to be 57, it's going to be 58. So it's going to be 1958. That's the answer to $2.25 times 8.7 miles. But then we've got that $4 flat fee, so we've got to add on $4. To add on $4, we line up our decimal. And then we've got 58 cents, and 19 plus 4 is 23. So the answer to number 21 is going to be $23, 58 cents. All right, number 22. Multi-step. How much will the taxi driver earn if he takes one passenger 4.8 miles and another passenger 7.3 miles? Explain your process. Now there's not one right way to do this. There's several ways to do it. One efficient way to do this would be to recognize that there's two different passengers. So we've got one passenger and then another passenger. So how many $4 fees are you going to have? You're going to have two $4 fees. So at some point we're going to add up 4 plus 4. And then another way to think about this is think about this person's going 4.8 miles. And that's going to be times 225. And this person is going to go 7.3 miles, and that's going to also be times 225. So one way to do this, you could either do 4.8 times 225 and 7.3 times 225, or you could just add up the mileage and multiply that by 225. I think that might be a more efficient way of doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 7.3 plus 4.8. Add those up, and I'm going to get 11. I'm going to get 11 and 12. I'm going to get 12.1. So the taxi driver drove 12.1 miles, and for each mile, they're charging $2.25. So what I can do here is I can do 225 times 121, and worry about my decimals later. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. That was easy. And x is 0. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and 2 times 2 is 4. And now I'm back to this one right here. I'm going to do 2 zeros. 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 2 is 2. And I get 5, 2, 10, 12, 6, 7, and 2. I get 27. Oh, I got to count my decimals. It's going to be 225, so that's 1, 2, and 3. So 3 decimals, 1, 2, 3. So $27 and 225. Remember, that's too many cents. It's too far, too many places. So it's not 225. We're going to erase this 5, but 5's round up, so it's going to make it 23 cents. So the mileage is $27.23, but I've got to add my $8. Why is it 8? Because it's 2 passengers. And so that's going to be $35. Because 27 plus 8 is 35, so it's going to be $35.23. Now it says explain your process. I'll help you with that. Add $4 twice because there are 2 passengers. Then add 4.8 plus 7.3 to get 12.1. Then multiply by 225. Add it all together at the end. And we don't need to show our work there because we already did it. The answer is $35.23. I'm just trying to help you explain it. It's not probably the best explanation in the world, but I did show all my work and I did explain it. So good job. You have completed page 123.